Here are our choices. We have a 9mm blade here by Alpha. And then we have an 18mm blade here by Alpha. Now both are black blades. First of all, if you store these somewhere, exposing them to moisture, and the tips get rusty, throw them in the garbage. Because if you use them on wall covering, the crud on the knife is going to be in your seam for the life of the wallpaper. You'll never get it out. Just throw them right in the garbage. Now let's decide whether we want to cut the wall covering with an 18mm blade or a 9mm blade. Is there a difference? You're looking at a 9mm blade. Look how clean it is. When it comes from the factory, it has oil on it. And if the oil dries up, the knife gets rusty. But sometimes you can accelerate that process by exposing it to moisture. And if you're going to be double cutting wall covering, I would not be using rusty knives on my double cuts. But now, what's the difference between a 9mm and an 18mm blade? How many parts of 1 inch is 9mm? How many parts of 1 inch is 18mm? Well, if you convert it to a decimal, 9mm is 0.35 inches. And 18mm is 0.71. Let's call it double thickness than the 9mm. And so if I take a 9mm blade and cut through my vinyl, as opposed to taking an 18mm blade and cutting through my vinyl, what will cause the larger gap in the cut? The thinner blade or the thicker blade? Well, the thicker blade is going to void the wall covering, double the space. It's going to slice through it and cause a bigger slice, a thicker slice. When you're double cutting, what would you prefer? A paper thin slice or a thicker slice? Put these off to the side. You want to go as strong as possible with these black blades and as thin as possible. Now I agree that these blades get weak. Look at the flex here. But in order to make them strong, all you gotta do is this. And now you strengthen the blade by reducing or choking up on the blade. You bring it in and you don't have this big flex going on. I agree, it weakens the blade. This is the blade you want to go with on a double cut. Let's demonstrate the point between using the right blade and the wrong blade for the job. You're looking at type 1 commercial vinyl wall covering. In this cartridge, I have a 9mm black blade. In this cartridge, I have an 18mm wallpaper blade. Now, let's cut through the wall covering with both of these knives. And to be fair, we will do the same thing for each one. You're the viewer. Which seam can you see? Without doing any work to it, that's my 9mm seam right now. Without doing any work to it, that's my 18mm seam. For those of you paper hangers who say it doesn't matter, I've done the same exact thing on each side. Now watch this. That's my 9mm seam. And let's do the same to the 18mm seam. Here's my 18mm seam. And folks, I can't find the 9mm seam. Oh. It's right there. Look at the middle of your screen. Now, for those of you who say, well, Spencer, you really can't see it. But if you picture that line, every 50 inches in a room, everybody's going to see it. Please don't let this happen to you. Use your 9mm. Don't use 18mm.